morning and welcome to Love Every Moment, coming to you today from St. John, New Brunswick. Today's verse is 1 John 3:11. For this is the message which you have heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. Well, of course, it starts with 4, which means we have to look back at last week's verse, and I had the link up here, which talked about here's how you could tell the children of God and the children of the devil. The one who does not love his brother is definitely of the devil. So now we get to this week's verse, for this is the message that you've heard from the beginning, that we should love one another. Another curiosity is the word message here. The original Greek word, this is the only time that particular Greek word is used. However, the root of that word is basically angel, and that word is used other times. An angel is a messenger, and the word evangelize has angel in the middle, and that is to give the message. But here we go. This is the message that you've heard from the beginning. I saw one commentator who suggested that was the beginning of Jesus' ministry, and while that's certainly true, I'm going to argue that this is from the beginning of eternity, that love has always been the modus operandi of God. It's always what's driven him. In fact, if we can cheat a little bit and look at next week's verse, that talks about Cain and Abel, which is a lot closer to the beginning. In any case, I wanted to look for a positive example of love in the Bible, and you know what? There's not a lot of that. There's a lot of hatred and not getting along. I mean, you talk about Cain and Abel, Joseph and his brothers, Jacob and Esau, and many others have a lot of clashes and are not putting each other first. But there is a notable exception in the Old Testament, and that is Jonathan. Jonathan was the son of Saul and was naturally expected to be next in line for the throne to be the king of Israel. And yet, Jonathan loved God more than the position and prestige of being king. And he loved God's servant, David, to the point where he lifted David up to be his own king, to be his boss. Imagine that. Willingness to give up the throne to let God's servant be in that position. That is love. That's real friendship, lifting someone else up. Fast forward to John the Baptist, who said the phrase, "He must increase and I must decrease," speaking, of course, of Jesus Christ. John the Baptist wasn't looking for prestige. He was looking to pave the way to lift up Jesus and elevate him and his ministry. So there was no intent for John to lift himself up. All right? Now, in today's church, there is a lot of bickering, a lot of pettiness, a lot of nitpicking about all kinds of things. The sermon, the music, the child care, the facilities, all kinds of things. Now, if there's a real sin going on, yes, we do have to address that, and that's listed in the Bible, how to do so in love. But a lot of it, honestly, is very petty. And it's wanting to elevate ourselves more than elevate someone else, if you really think that through. But let's look at another example here. You know, if I said, gee, so-and-so has a problem with me, I could say, well, that's their problem. That's not the way God thinks, though. God wants love to be the key throughout there. And if it means I have to give up some of my own lifting of myself up, that's fine. Let's look at Matthew 5:23 and 24, which we saw a long time ago. Therefore, if you are presenting your offering at the altar, and remember that your brother has something against you, leave your offering there before the altar and go. First be reconciled to your brother, and then come and present your offering. Let's make sure love is the first thing we're chasing after, and that reconciliation. Let's lift up our brothers and sisters. And the funny thing is, we end up lifting up everybody, including ourselves. Let's start with love, because if we love every moment, we're going to love every moment. I'm your average wretch, and I hope you have a great week.